Okay, here we are. We're back. Continuing on. Where did I leave off? This is my latest Git show. Is this really all I did last time? I traced. I changed the name of a file. I did some interpolation. And I caught a bug potentially in parsing of back-end stuff. Music's a little loud, huh? I'm just listening to some background music, carbon-based life forms, and that's it. Okay, what do I want to do? Let's just run this thing. But that's on our device. Let's run it on the simulator. Run it on the simulator. What? Simulator iPhone. There we go. Looks like I got all kinds of other windows open and stuff. Ah, yeah. Okay. Oh, that's right. I ran it on the device because for some reason, yeah, here's us getting that invalid line set, which we catch in the log and then we just continue. So we get one thing of bad JSON. We looked at it before, it was just an empty array. It's supposed to be a JSON object, but it's coming down as an array. And it's empty, so maybe that means nothing. We'll keep an eye on this, but we'll disable that. We don't need to do that. But the reason I was using the device is I can't seem to click on the breaker button here in the simulator. Like I can click here, but the breaker button click doesn't respond, and is that because of this notch and that I'm up here in the clock or something? It's like it doesn't want to react to that in the simulator. This could be a problem on the iPhone 12 itself. I don't have an iPhone 12. The device I was testing on is an iPhone 6. I use a lot of old devices because our users are on old devices, and I always want to make sure it works on the lowest end device first, not the latest and greatest, although we will test it on the higher end devices. Actually, should I just set up another simulator? Look at all these different simulators. So iPhone 12 I've got running, I think this is like 16. Here's older ones on 13.7. No, this is not critical right now. All that we had to do was make sure that the files were getting created, and we saw that. So, in fact, I might even have the previous stuff here in the log. Well, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. We know that we could save the file. We know it gets written. We know it gets written with the correct ID. This is what the file name looks like. We say rehearsal dictionary because that's what it is. It's not actually JSON. It's the stringification, serialized string of cloud line set dot description. Dot description is a method on NSDictionary or dictionary in Swift. This is going to be funny, right? Watch, jump to description. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. This cracks me up every time. This high-end sophisticated IDE doesn't even know what its own standard methods are for something that's been compiled. It's like terrible. I don't know about the whole VS Code situation. I'm loath to use it since it's sitting on top of Electron, and I just don't like using crap piled on top of crap. And I like Vim, but I'm forced to use the IDE. I mean, it's not like you get away from using Xcode anyway. So, not using another tool. Anyway, I'm babbling on. Okay, string with formats, so we're doing all this. So, this NS log we don't really need, so replaced by JSON. Yes, so what happens here? What are we doing with this? We're reading in the JSON, and we're just writing it to the file. Okay, so what's happening is this is actually a parsing of a script. In this case, script scenes JSON that's coming down. And the script object has the line sets has a member for line sets. So we're reading it in, we're saving it to a file, but we're not, the script is not getting this association to it. So we replaced all this, and normally what would have happened is create from JSON, script, line set. We get this local variable, and then do what to it? It's like it goes nowhere. Create from JSON. I think the old create from JSON is part of the ORM that's basically storing it in SQLite. And then the foreign key to this from the script is automatically connected and generated. That's what I'm going to guess happens here. Right? I mean, if we look at this implementation, create object in context, see how it's got this associated script pointer to it? We pass in the script as a script pointer. This is an association between these objects. Right? The script object already exists. Line set is being created. This create object in context, which I'm assuming is part of CoreData. I bet it'll go question mark on me. Well, I don't know what that is. No idea. So for line, this is where the actual line sets are created. So same thing, line set, line scene. Yeah, we'll deal with that later. So what's different here, since we're not calling this, so we're not passing in the script, back where we were. Okay. We simply took what we have, this dictionary that's passed in, and we just stored it in a file, but it's just sitting there in a file. So the script doesn't know about it yet. So we ourselves have to change the script association directly. What's interesting, so let's take a look at the script. Here's the script CoreData class. And this is where we commented out attach all scenes in context. Okay, script CoreData class. So a lot of this stuff was disabled where line sets are concerned. So let's see, script. Take a look at the core. So remember, we're keeping script intact as CoreData. We've removed line set as CoreData, but script is still CoreData. And this essentially is the parent object that owns line sets. So if we look at this, we see line sets down here somewhere. There we go, line sets, line sets. So this is the original member. It's a property. It's an NS set of line sets. So it's a collection. Here's some CRUD stuff on there. Add line sets, remove line sets, add line sets, remove line sets. So I could probably do this. I could probably just call add line sets object, add line sets, remove line sets, object, add line sets. Let's take a look at that. What do we got? We got nothing. Is this implemented somewhere? This thing is useless. Well, I see a declaration of a method. CoreData generated accessors. I have a feeling this is ORM stuff, meaning the implementation is automatically generated somewhere behind the scenes. Let's see if we find this anywhere in the workspace. Yeah, nope, it's not even called by anybody. Why does it have to be declared here? You know, honestly, I haven't looked into understanding how CoreData works. You give the name of the object and in an interface, specify CoreData generated accessors here, and you get these things declared, but nothing really gets called. Well, what's add going to do? What if there's already a line sets there? Does this add, does this combine? Does it replace? And what does remove do? No idea. No idea. Do I want to research this and understand it? Since I'm throwing it out, I'm kind of filling my brain up with obsolete knowledge that I don't really want to have. Obviously, it would be helpful to understand how all this works, but why is this even needed? All right, let's ask ChatGPT. Man, I'm becoming more and more reliant on ChatGPT. Oh, there's my YouTube revealing more of my life here. Somewhere in here I've got a ChatGPT. Okay, there it is. Let's bring it up. Let's put it on the other workspace. No, don't look at any of my private stuff. Okay, ChatGPT. You know what? Let's make a new chat. And I want you to say, CoreData generated accessors. Explain, teach me, explain how CoreData generated accessors work. Oh, I gotta sign in. This is me. I'm okay. Yeah, sign me in. I logged out. Let's log me in again. Log in. I use the Google account. It's one of my many Google accounts. The Gigster. All right. I'm using my Gigster account because they're very AI enthusiastic. I'm going to use that word. Okay, so I have a new chat. This again, explain. I should misspell it. I mean, it's a language model. It should be able to figure that out. Explain how CoreData generated accessors work. Methods of CoreData generates for you define relationship CoreData model. Yeah, I figured that out. Automatically generated by Xcode, help you manage relationships. Da 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 da. Okay. Yeah. We know what an association between objects are. One to many. For example, blah, 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 author and book. Yeah, author has many books. Add books object or add books. Adds books to set of books. Yeah, they make it easier, sure. They encapsulate the details. Yeah, in other words, we hide. It's a black box. Allowing you to manipulate the relationship without having to deal with the underlying detail. In other words, so that you can ignore SQL. This is basically, we're going to create a new abstraction so you don't have to understand how SQL works. For example, add books objects, new book, remove books. Yeah, okay. Great. Okay. It's interesting how it says generates for you when you define relationships in your model, but this is handwritten, like this isn't generated. So the declaration is created by a human programmer. I'm assuming the implementation is generated. Let's ask it the question. Show me how CoreData knows what methods to implement. Based on configurations you define in your CoreData model. Yeah. Naming conventions, optional configuration. Show me the code that is necessary to write in Objective-C for the example above. All right. Import interface, there we go. Huh, okay. Interface NS managed object. So notice how it puts a comment in saying generated accessors. Does that mean it generated them, or I wrote this and generation of something else is going to happen? Right? That's unclear what that means. Same thing here, right? This is all handwritten by some human being. In fact, let's look at the script. Okay, so script core data class. I kind of don't understand this breakdown. Here we have properties, here we have the core data class. Let's take a look at the core data class. Okay, NS managed object, right? Human being wrote this. Unless this is actually generated code and there's some kind of declaration in Xcode and it actually generated all this. Really don't know. Yeah, so this is an example of how the ChatGPT doesn't understand what it's talking about. It's just spitting out stuff it's gathered together, figures out at a language level how to, interpret what you're asking and suppose some answers, but it doesn't understand any of this. There's no logic behind it. In fact, that YouTube video of ChatGPT was the perfect thing. It basically said it's not a knowledge base, it's a statistical model of a knowledge base. In other words, it's giving me what's probably the correct answer. It doesn't know what the question is, it doesn't know what the answer is. It basically says words like this typically result or questions like this or statements like this typically result in answers or statements like this following it up. That's essentially what this is. It's taking the statistics to the nth degree. Most of the time when somebody asked this question, this is the kind of answer they got. But there's no understanding of the substance of any of this. It really is a very sophisticated parrot. Now, supposedly they're doing more with more modern models, and this is 3.5, it's the free version, it's not 4, right? I gotta pay if I want that. I'm not willing to pay yet. So again, it's helping me like a research assistant. It's a better version of search in some ways. But there's a super downside to this. And the main downside that I see is if I do a search on Stack Overflow, if I do a search on Google, I know where the information is coming from. I know that some person posted this. I know their name. I can see the process through which it comes from. If it comes from another site, like an official company, I know that. I have no idea where this information is sourced, right? No idea, and there's no way to glean that. That's a huge weakness in this. So it saves time when I don't care to assess the quality of the source of the information. But the minute I'm like, where is this answer coming from? How did they arrive at this? There's no way to know. Like I could literally ask, where did you get this information? Let's see what it says. Comes from my training data. It comes from a giant black hole called the stuff I vacuumed up off the internet. For the Objective-C code example related core, it's based on a general understanding of how core data works and you don't have any understanding. You're saying it comes from an understanding, but it's not your understanding because you don't actually understand it. Right? The code follows patterns commonly used by developers. How do we know this? What developers? Who? Who's it common to? Was this just some dude somewhere that came up with an answer that had a high ranking on Stack Overflow? Is this coming from Apple? Where is it coming from? And then here we go. Here's the cop-out. It's essential to consult the official Apple documentation and other reliable sources for most accurate and up-to-date information. How about the most accurate? For the more probably correct information. This is only meant as an illustration. Don't sue me if I'm wrong. I love it. This is kind of fun, actually. All right, so I'm just drifting off into space here. The point here is, let's take an example, add books object. Okay, so in one case, it's an add books object and add books. All right, so let's see what it says. In the example above, what is the difference between add books object and add books? Do I have to even spell it right? And does it begin, is it Pascal case or camel case? All right, it's camel case. Add books object. I don't know that it cares that I got the case right, but I'm going to try to be accurate. What's the difference between add books object and add books? Let's see what it says. Yeah, we know that. Adds a single book object. Okay. So it adds all the specified books to the set of books. So if add books adds the newly passed books in it, does that combine it with the existing collection of books already there? All right, so we get a union. Okay. So I didn't see a clear method, so let's say, how do I replace all of the books with only the new set of books that I pass in? Set books. Is there a set books method? I didn't see a set line sets. Let's see. Where were we? Back to script, core data prop. This is really confusing. Core data class, core data properties. Dynamic. Oh, this is interesting. This must be something to do with defining the model. Implementation script, core data properties. Dynamic. It's a DSL. It's a domain-specific language built into the language. So that's interface script, implementation script, core data properties, core data. So that's the implementation of this interface, where we've got line sets. Its implementation just says it's a dynamic. Whatever that means. And down here we get the interface for the generated accessors, but there's no implementation anywhere that I see. All right. I don't see a set anywhere. What if there is no set books method generated? Well, I can see why they want to black box this. This is a mess. Look at all this that you have to understand in order for this to work. will change value for key, set primitive value, did change value for key. It's interesting. This is like this looks like a transaction envelope. This is like prepare, and this is commit. That's what it seems like. With set mutation, Yeah, because this is mutation of data in a database, and you want to do it in a transactional context. Set books will change value for key. In the parlance of two-phase commits, that would be a prepare. This would be the actual value change. This would be the actual commit. So that it happens atomically at this stage, right? You don't want to do it here without a transaction, or you get a race condition, potentially. Somebody's getting the value while you're setting it. So who wins the race? Here we're basically saying we're doing a commit. We're going to lock all readability or other changes that can happen. It's not really a race with a get and a set. I mean, if you get before the set, you get the prior value. If you get after the set, this would be more like someone else doing a set and we doing a set, and which set wins. And this is a mutex here, right? I'm totally speculating, but I'm guessing that's how this works. This is a critical section, mutual exclusion. This locks a transaction for writing. Nobody else can write while this is happening. And this would commit it. But of course, not using words that are anywhere in the parlance of database transactional semantics. It's in the language of the UI, basically. Will change, did change. Sounds just like the window updates, right? When view did appear, view will appear. Yeah, yuck. That's what I meant by DSL. Somebody at Apple's idea, and this is pretty old. CoreData's been around a while. And we're looking at Objective-C anyway. Let's ask, how would I declare the setBooks method so that its implementation is automatically generated? Code gen option when setting up your core data model. There we go. Okay, so it's not just a matter of Objective-C and Swift code. This is our declarative DSL here, XC data model. I'm learning how core data works. Only as much as I have to, because this is not knowledge I want to keep. This is a proprietary design stack unique to Apple. It doesn't exist anywhere else. It is their own idea of how to abstract object relational mapping in Objective-C and Swift. It's not broadly reusable knowledge. It's yet just another spin on the multitudes of all the different ORM abstractions. And what is gained, right? If you learn and you understand how relational database works and SQL works, that knowledge is widespread usable across languages, across domains, across platforms. And the idea is, well, it's not object-oriented, i.e. it's bad. This is what I used to think. I was a big supporter of the whole object database movement. Most people listening to this probably weren't around for that. That was a big move when we thought objects were the answer to everything and that straight data was bad. And that was a massive initiative in the industry for years. Entire companies rose and fell, and the whole thing collapsed under its own weight. There are no object databases anymore. They're gone. And I was a proponent of that, and I saw it fail for good reasons. Because again, try to extend the object metaphor to everything, to distributed computing, to distributed persistence. this assumption that it's this magical elixir, holy grail, and I don't mean elixir in terms of the language, I mean in terms of like, you know, a magical alchemical thing. Secret sauce, magic sauce that would solve all the problems everywhere in terms of reusability and maintainability and extensibilities and all the ilities. And it failed to deliver on that. This is an example of marketecture. Marketing architecture being marketed on promises that there's no evidence that it can really deliver on. And that has become the reality. And relational databases have stood the test of time. I mean, sure, they coexist with a document database, non-SQL, Mongo-like databases, and graph now is the latest trend. Before document databases, that was XML databases. They kind of replaced object databases, but XML was too complicated, so the document databases rose by basically changing XML to JSON, which is much simpler to grok, schemaless kind of approach, and still hold to this day to some degree. Anyway, I'm just going on. Whatever, I'm not here to talk about the history of software. I got a problem to solve. Okay, so where are these models? Let's see what we got here. XC data model D. Xcode data model definition, declaration. This is an example of how proprietary this thing is. Just the fact that it begins XC, meaning it assumes you're using Xcode. So you can't even do this outside of Xcode. So let's do a find. Dash, do dot, dash name. I don't want to have to search through the IDE. I just want to see where these files are. Star.x, xc, what was it? Data model D. There's one. There is literally a single file. And I'm not going to open an Xcode. I want to see what this looks like in terms of raw text. So it's at the top. So interesting. There's a model and there's a model D. I'm guessing that's probably binary. Let's open this in. I mean, look at how hard it is just to get Vim working on here. Right? Mac Vim. Okay. I'm guessing this is, wow. Yeah, you can't even use this without the IDE. It's some kind of database. It's some kind of thing buried in. Let's take a look at it in the IDE. So this top level thing doesn't show up here. No idea where this is. This is like the worst UI. These like little icons. I mean, I've been using Xcode for a long time, and I still don't remember what these mean. This is some designer's idea of elegance, right? Simple wireframe icons, very small to what? Save space. I know that's a folder. That's obvious. A box with an X. Okay, that's supposed to be source control navigator. Like, is that obvious? I obviously disable because I use Git directly. Symbol navigator is what looks like a diagram. And it says there's nothing there. This is probably search, generally. Find, search. Okay, that makes sense. A triangle with an exclamation part usually means errors or important messages. Nothing there. The diamond with the check, if I remember, that's testing. Yeah, which doesn't work. It's broken. A spray bottle with an X with mist coming out of it, I'm going to guess has something to do with debugging. This is like a can of, yeah, okay. these are breakpoints because I recognize that as the breakpoints. And then the last thing is, yeah, it looks like a to-do list, report navigator. What does that even mean? These are logs. And what's funny is, how is this different from this? It's just a terribly designed tool set. A lot of people rag on Xcode. I can see why JetBrains, VS Code are popular and this is not. I don't get the sense that people at Apple even eat their own dog food. I mean, maybe they do. It's just a terrible UI. Just obscure little symbols. And I'm a big fan of symbols meaning something. But in a programming language like APL or BQN, there's symbols you work with constantly. It's the notation, the mind thought. This is not a notation that I'm going to memorize. These little symbols are completely unique to this tool and have no meaning or context outside of this tool. And I'm not living and breathing this tool with everything that I do in programming. Nobody is. And the only thing here that I see recognizable, a few things like a trash can, okay, that makes sense. What looks like a clock, which could mean alarm, time, I don't know. ... usually means more. These look like common, stop and play. Okay, that makes sense. This is outline, show or, like this means show or hide. That doesn't tell me anything. This means more of something. Library, plus means library. Yeah, it just, for being the experts on UI design, this is really bad UI design. All right, rant, done. All I'm doing is ranting on this video. Hopefully nobody's watching and cares. So what was I trying to do? Okay, ChatGPT, tell me how to even use Xcode. Select entity, okay, open your core data model file in Xcode. It doesn't even tell me how to do that. How do I open my core data model file in Xcode? Launch Xcode, really. Create a project, locate the file, open the file. Okay, that's funny. So the file is here. Do I have to open the file from, well, it knows it's core. Obviously, if I open the file from here, it's going to take me into Xcode. But where is the actual file in Xcode? Assuming I'm living inside Xcode, I probably moved it around. Like I might have moved it from the top down to legacy stuff here. I mean, there's core data, but I don't know where the model files are. Let's see if there's a way to say XC model. No idea. All right, we'll just open it from here. Okay. Yeah, great. Ah. Okay. So where is this view? Like if I was actually inside the IDE, where does this come from? See, there's no relationship between this and this. Like I don't know what window this is. Does this tell me what window I'm in? No. It says I'm here, but what is that? What category is that under? Does it even matter? All right, I don't care at this point. All right, so there we go. This is what the data model looks like. So I go to script, relationships. So this doesn't look complete at all. This can't be right. This, I mean, and I only see a few things here. I don't see line sets. I don't see any of this. I have a feeling this data model was created very early at the beginning. And using this approach to define the data model was abandoned. And at some point, this code was written. This stuff was added manually. That's what I'm going to guess. I could look through the Git log, but at this point, I don't really care. let's see if I can just add a set function, right? Because there's no set function here. So let's try that. There's line sets. So instead of add line sets, let's do a set line sets. Do it ourselves. So set line sets. I'm going to put my name at the end of this. Now I'm assuming this other stuff gets generated because I don't see any implementation code anywhere for it. So I'm going to guess that gets generated also. Let's see if it barfs at this. There's probably a lot of code gen going on in the background. Actually, if I wanted to, I could search. I could do a find grep for it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do actually. Right, where did I do a find before? Well, there's a find grep. Let's do this. Set. Let's see if it generated any code. Set line sets. Set the set of line sets set. This would end up being Objective-C code that gets generated, so it should be a .m file. Let's see if it finds this anywhere. No. Huh. Doesn't find that either. Maybe this never gets called. Well, I know it never gets called because I did a search and it never got called. So this isn't doing jack shit. Wow. I'm looking to see if there are some other methods that were added. Let's try this. I know what the member is. Line sets equals. Let's see what we get. Script core data class. Line sets equals. Change line sets offline status. The fuck does that mean? And this is code I disabled, obviously. Huh. This gets called by the synchronizer. There it is. The very guy that we're in the middle of. Upload line scene list for script. Change line sets offline status. What does that mean? Declared here, declared there. This is all part of the synchronization logic. You see how clunky the synchronization logic is? It is. What's the word used when you tailor a code specifically for somebody? You don't do it as part of your mass production. Begins with a B, not boutique. Bespoke. This is an example of bespoke coded synchronization. It's literally just going in and figuring out how to set flags, unset flags, and check them. It is the tangled spaghetti nightmare of mutable state, of a state machine, trying to figure out where things are at. And it's no wonder we have a bug where when we synchronize, somebody changes a name, we get a duplicate. This is the problem with these sorts of bespoke solutions. You need to have a tight generalization of synchronization that happens at an elemental level and then is used consistently throughout. This one-off, line sets has a status that it's offline, it's online, and I'm gonna do this. Yeah. This is why I'm rewriting this. There's a bug in here somewhere. And I'm rewriting it as part of the process of finding it. I'm not just going to fix the old code. I'm going to replace it with new code that works for both platforms. So that's the purpose here. But back to where I was at, I'm trying to see where we can connect, how we can connect. So maybe I just, let's see, back to here. Script change line sets offline status. So line sets equals, but this is a local variable. So what are we doing with this local variable? Then we're allocating a new array, all objects. Is added offline? No. Modified date server. So this feels to me like it's iterating through the set of line sets and changing flags within them. That's what it's doing. It's saying changing the offline status of all the individual flags. And here's save object. Again, we're relying on the ORM to make the association between itself and the script. So there's nowhere else where we say line sets equals. We just don't do this. Both of these are local variables. Let's do a search for dot line sets. I don't know if this is going to work. We're going to get a lot of hits on this. Oh, not too many. Fetch. Let's go back to, let's take a look at the core data. I mean, that's what we're looking at right here. Let's just look at everywhere we've disabled the line set stuff. Just pound. Okay. Attach all scenes in context. See, this is, again, this is where the ORM associates the line set to the script. It does it backwards. It doesn't add the line set to the script. It tells the line set what script it is, and ORM is automatically connecting that one-to-many association here. One script has many line sets. We need, for the script, to have its container of line sets. We're keeping this around as JSON or NSDictionary. Okay, let's go back to this, where we were. What if I just do an assignment and see what happens? Where is the code? Where is the code? Where is the code? It's not in the synchronizer, it's in this guy. Store string is file. This is the string. And we're keeping it around, not its stringified form, in its dictionary form. So where does cloud line set come from? It comes from the fact that it's already in here. Maybe I'm fine. Maybe I don't need to do anything. We basically have the JSON. Well, no, that's because, yeah, it needs to be added. What if I just take the collection and I simply add it? Let's just try that and see what happens. Remember, we're doing, creating if it doesn't exist, we're updating it otherwise, or we're removing it. It's the difference between the in-memory and the persistent. Really what I should do at the end of this see, the problem is, we have local line sets and we have cloud. Okay, so for now, we're just assuming the line sets are coming from the cloud. They're coming from the back end. This is what's been passed in. This self JSON is what we received from the back end. So this dictionary right here, this array, whatever this is, this gets assigned. Let's try that. Let's see what happens if we do that. Oh, we're in Objective-C. They don't have an auto, so I have to say what this is. It's a dictionary of dictionaries, right? Or what is it, an array? I have no idea what this is. It's not a dictionary, it's going to be an array. NS array. Well, I can see up above. NS mutable array. I don't need it to be mutable. Why would I need it to be mutable? Let's just make it the same for now. All right, line set, star. Cloud. Line sets equals, right? This is local line sets, this is cloud line sets. Script creation date, local line sets. Let's put our own name here. My little name's going to show up in a lot of places. And I'm literally just going to assign this to the script. I'm going to say script dot line sets equals cloud line sets. Now I have a feeling this isn't going to work. And in fact, if we look at script line sets, we see that it's a set, it's not an array. Right? So all I'm doing is I'm just copying the state, associating the state in memory in addition to writing it out to persistent files. So script core properties. Yeah, see, this is what we got. NS set line sets. Why is this an NS set? That should prevent there from being any duplicates. That's the logic of that. Why is the other one a mutable array? Huh. I'm going to try keeping this as the same type and see how it barfs at it. Let's do that. Like, why is this a mutable array of line sets and this is not? And why is this a pointer to an array? It must have something to do with what this return is. I'm assuming that this set is a collection that's iterated over here. And in reality, I don't need this intermediate variable, right? This is what I want. Intermediate variables just add noise. I don't need an intermediate variable because that's what I'm assigning it to. So I shouldn't have to declare the type. Let's see if there's type compatibility here. And then from here, I'm basically saying, I'm going to iterate over every one of these guys and persist them out to file. Yeah. This won't compile. Watch it's going to blow its brains out right here. No. Didn't like something. Me no likey. All right. I'm guessing I'm stepping on the toes of the ORM. This is not simply a member that I can just assign. It went barf. What is the error? Oh, that's interesting. I'm actually seeing the data. CoreData, yeah. CoreData's like, no. Unacceptable type of value for two to many relationship. So it wanted a set and I gave it an array. Okay, all right. It's a type error. It's a runtime type mismatch. Okay. That's not too bad. So I just need to convert this array into a set. Hey, ChatGPT. How do I convert an object div C? What type of array is it? NS array? NS array? Objective C, NS array to a NS and NS set. Set with array. Okay. Makes sense. That's all I want. I just want that. So this is a given type array I, array iterator probably. This will probably not work. Let's try this. Boom. Doing development full-time on the Mac, I just don't like the keyboard. It doesn't work well for me, especially doing brackets and braces and stuff. Let's try this. It's gonna go, I don't like you. All right. Now the error is unrecognized selector sent to instance. NSDictionary I. I'm guessing this I is an iterator. Value for key. What do we get from this? No idea what value for key is. Cryptic. I'm guessing this is an iteration. What if the array is an iterator to an array? Array enumerator. But I'm assuming that that's what that is. This is value for key. Show me how to convert an element of an NSDictionary returned by value for key into an NS set. No, that didn't work. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Wrong. Nope. I get this error when I try that. Yeah, I'm assuming it's an array. Well, you know what? I'm just iterating over the damn thing. Why don't I just add it one at a time? This is going to be temporary interim code anyway. I don't need it to be super efficient. Why don't we do this? Line sets dot clear or something like that. Show me how to clear an NS set and how to add a member to an NS set. Really? I can't just clear the existing set? Oh, because it's not mutable. That makes sense. Add object, okay. All right. Really don't like the Objective-C syntax. And a set. That's an empty set. And a set, method set. What the fuck? That's the most horribly overloaded terminology. Set. All right. So I like that, yeah, because if the JSON's invalid, I can't do jack shit with it, so that's fine. So we're going to ignore the invalid JSON, and we're going to say script.line sets. And what do we have to do? Add object. Add object. Cloud line set. Now again, I'm kind of stepping all over the ORM because it's supposed to say add. But I'm just directly manipulating the object in memory because I don't care about its core data storage at this point. I just want the transient association to be made between scripts and line sets. So we clear the damn thing, we add it if it's valid. Because after this, we're either doing an update or a delete from the local. This is all persistence. So everything below her is persistence. This is transient. Try this. What? Oh, because it's not mutable, right? It just told me that. Yeah. This is why collection and iteration is most often mutable in object orientation. Yuck. Yeah, okay. Okay. Mutable copy. But I don't. Gross. So these are the idioms from Objective-C, how to get, I mean, at least there's immutability in here. I like that. So how do I just create a new set? This can't be right. I mean, show me how to create a new empty mutable set. Set. Okay. NS. Mutable set. Ugh. I don't really like the notation where the pointer is attached to the reference, but whatever. Mute line set. Sets. Isn't this line sets plural? Yes. Mute line sets. Mutable set. Mute line sets. There we go. Add object clad line-sec, and then obviously at the very end of all this nonsense, This is where we remove all that stuff. But we're going to do iteration. At the end of the iteration, yeah, I really hate this kind of iteration. This is where we say script dot line set equals mute line sets. Now, do I have to get a non-mutable copy? Is it going to bother it, or can I just assign a mutable to a non-mutable? I'm guessing this is going to choke. Basically, we're trying to lose mutability in this object, but it ain't going to like it. No. Yeah, mute line sets. Okay. Okay, didn't barf. Ooh, got a bunch of invalid JSON. Yeah, it's okay because we disabled the core data for this class. Why do we get all this? Why do we get all this invalid JSON? Huh. Interesting. Wonder if we end up with anything at the end here. All right. Zero elements. Zero elements. Zero elements. Aren't that many scripts? Oh, yeah. Let's run this on the phone. You can't see it, but the reason is my logged in user on the phone has much fewer scripts. I don't want to have to go through too many here. Do I even have the right phone? I do. I believe so. And yes. Yeah. I can also wipe out local files with the breaker. Dump this. I don't want to see any of that. Did I say go? Go. No, it's still going. They should change the color of these buttons when it's actually in the process of building. Okay, now we're on the phone. Okay, what do we got? Come on, tell me something. Tell me something. P, mute, line sets. Such a great debugger, so awesome. Zero elements. Oh, now you tell me, thank you. Next one. Create from JSON. Script create from JSON. Attach all scenes in context. Yeah, that's fine. That's it. That's not right. Huh. Last time I ran this, we get, okay. Let's just break on where we should be breaking, which is creating the actual file. Boom. We're not getting any line sets. Why not? We're not getting any line sets, or we're not synchronizing what's happening here. We're getting no lines. We're not getting into here. What's going on? Okay. Last time we ran this, we were actually getting line sets from the back end. It looks like we're not getting any. Why are we not getting any? How do we get down here? Our force finding. Oh yeah. I did this. Oopsie. That makes sense. Not show, get diff. Yeah, I actually, okay, fair enough. What? It's wrong cut and paste. Control copy. In. I'm using a trackpad, by the way, because the Apple Magic Mouse is a piece of garbage. Let's try this. This should give us a little bit better. Ooh, there's a mosquito in here. There we go. All right. Restoring the file, we know that. Now what do we got? How many elements? Come on. It's like this thing was written in Electron or something. I mean, what the heck? One element, okay. We got one line set. Really? Is there only one? Oh, there's more than one. Add object. Let's see how many times this gets hit. Oh, barf. Okay, I'm guessing that it tried, yeah. Yeah. Okie dokie. Thread 8. This is why exceptions are so awesome. Save server scenes and groups to DB. What? Thread 8. There we go. It's crashed here. Okay. Didn't like it. So again, I'm stepping on the ORM. Invalid argument exception. Unrecognized selector. Managed object context. I think I need to make it so that this member ain't a member of CoreData. How can I add a property to a CoreData object in Objective-C that is not part of CoreData, but only a transient in-memory object? To add a property CoreData managed object that is not persistent in the CoreData property, you can use the property declaration and then deny dynamic. Inform the compiler that the getter and setter are provided at runtime. property, non-atomic, strong, transient property. Your entity, your implementation. It looks like that's what it did though for the other ones. Okay. So let's go to script. So this guy is nullable, non-atomic, retain, and he's saying non-atomic, strong. Copy, retain, copy, retain. But this is core data properties. And this is NS managed object. So the properties are not the same as the managed object. Core data class. Here we go. Managed object. Do we have any properties in here? These look all like methods. Bool, 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 bool. There are no properties in here. Well, these are properties, right? No, those are methods. So there are no transient properties currently in here, according to this. So what if I move it from there to there? Core data, I mean, it's not core data, which is what I want. Let's see if we can just extract this out. Actually, let's keep it in place and comment it out. This is it to do. Now transient. Let's add it to the NS object. Where is it? Core data class. Here we go. I'm going to put it at the top. So according to this, property is simply, say, non-atomic? Non-atomic. Strong. Strong versus retain. Strong. We can keep it semantically the same. Again, it's a pointer to a set of pointers. Okay. Let's try that. Let's see what happens. Ton of errors. Aha. Okay. So it doesn't like me sticking it in there. Oh. Well, this is core data properties. Right. We're taking it out of here. Okay, same problem. Dynamic. To do. Now transient. I think I'm supposed to do my to-dos a different way, like this. Actually, this is a refactor, so it's not technically a hack. I put my name in correctly. Right. So according to ChatGPT, I'm calling it that. I want it. I want to put it in the. I'm going to put it in core data class, right? At the very top. Man, all these annotations. Now transient. Yeah. Let's try that. That's what I did there. Properties, same thing here. To do, now transient. What do you think of that? building, it's building, it's building, it's building. Okay. Remember, I've already commented out the code that references that member. Okay. So now we're just adding members to a transient object. Core data should be unaffected now by this, which is what I want. Got one. You gonna barf? You're not gonna barf. It's good. That's progress. It's still running. Okay. Now I got an error. So I just clicked on my scripts and it barfed. Probably because it's trying to find again we're still doing this thing. Class not found. Thread 13. Save server scenes and groups to DB again. Let's go back to thread 13. Again, we're crashing in the same place. Now this member is a transient member. Why does it give a fuck? Save server and scenes to parse. Perform block. God, look at this mess. Look at all this code. Look at all this code. This is just crud. This is just getting stuff and persisting it, saving it. I mean, it's wow. Wow. It's a lot. So I'm having a hard time understanding where this is from that. This is an asynchronous dispatch. Okay, so this is a continuation from here. So we did something asynchronously. Perform block. I'm guessing this is an async initiation here. Dispatch async. And then 15. So we go to 20. It's like hard to tell where we even are. Oh, okay, we're coming from here. Yeah, this is the call to us. Parse line sets in context. Fine. Why does it care about this? Why is this a problem? NS invalid argument exception. Dictionary I managed object context. Is again this a compatibility problem? Is this because this is a mutable line set and this is not a mutable line set? Show me how to assign a mutable NS mutable set to an NS set. You know, I'm just assigning it. Lovely. This works seamlessly because of the inheritance relationship between mutable set and set. Keep in mind, while it's declared as an NS set, it still behaves as an immutable set. If you try to modify it using methods, you'll get a runtime exception. Well, that's interesting considering All right. I'm doing the assignment. What's the problem? This Objective-C is this weird mix of static and dynamic typing. I mean, the compiler's not catching this, but at runtime it's catching it. So what's the benefit of there being any static typing at all? It's just not even helping me. It's just making me do more work. And the debugger is pretty much useless. But what's weird is it worked on the first pass, and then when I went to open the scripts, it failed. So let's do this again. Yeah, something's not adding up here. Why would it work at one point and not at the end? So on the first pass, so we create the line set. This is immutable line sets. Okay, fine. We do the assignment down here. Did I press this? Go. It's not responding. Go. Okay. All right, so this is not happening within that async block where it's actually crashing. I wonder if some kind of weird race condition. We're getting called there. Well, no, this is placed on the main thread. From the, yeah, no, this is the async. Okay, so we're in the right place. Yeah, that's fine. So we're okay. Thread 5. This has one element. It's an NS set, mutable, which contains a single element that is an NSDictionary I. Okay, I'm all right with that. And this guy, line sets, let's see what that looks like. pscript.linesets. NS faulting mutable set. What the fuck? Non-atomic strong. Doesn't this get default initialized to 0, to empty? See, I don't really even like this being a pointer. This whole thing is mutable. Dynamic. What the hell does this mean? In the question about transient property above, what does dynamic mean? Does it mean there's no getter or setter method? I want the transient property to have getter and setter methods automatically generated in the same way that they would be if they were not inside a core data object. Oh, well, that would have been nice to know. I just don't even declare it. So basically, the answer it gave me originally would make it dynamic fucked me over. Additionally, you can use, well, I didn't ask for that. I just wanted it to be a normal transient property, and it assumed that I wanted to be dynamic. Okay, so this is useless. Maybe that's the problem. Synthesize or dynamic. So I have to tell it to synthesize it. No. I undid the wrong do. This guy. Synthesize. If I do not use dynamic, then the compiler generates a warning. You got to be careful with ChatGPT. It acts like it has the answers, and it's so certain of it. Oh, thanks for telling me. Synthesize. Synthesize. So this is just a typical Objective-C. You add members to an object and you need it to generate getters and setters for you. Because it's a property. Let's try that. Shows my weakness in not knowing Objective-C intimately. Not something I'm planning on improving anytime soon. Effectively a dead language. Okay, here we go. Back to where we were. So this guy should now have a setter. So I'm guessing that that's what was happening, is I was getting an error because it was sending a set method dynamically, and then there was no such method. So let's p script line sets. Still, it's going to be this weird type, isn't it? Mutable set thing. God, this debugger. It's just, I mean, look at how much time it's taking to show me the information. That's crazy. 1, 2, geez, look at that. Look at how long it took to figure out what that is. I mean, what is going on? That is unusable. Okay, well, let's assume we don't get an error here. So now this guy has one element. So we have an NS set without the M. We're assigning an NS set mutable pointer. And since NS set mutable is a subclass, technically though, the way operator, I don't even care. What am I worrying about? Okay. It's running. It's no crashing. Lower protocol stack error. Okay. So now I'm going to press the script button. Does it crash? No, it went to the script. Good. That solved the problem. Looks like that solved the problem. I'm going to open the script. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. There we go. It's saying line set, find line sets. Line set for section, self. Yeah, I need to fix this. Right. Okay, so this is what needs to be fixed here. Let's move on. Huh. Okay. There's a line set there, but it's ignoring it. Okay, script opened. I actually clicked on the line set button to show me line sets. It should still show pretty empty. It's empty. But the point is, we're now, in theory, the script now has a transient member of those line sets. So now I have to just change the accessors to not using the core data. So we made progress. I'm going to save what I did. We're getting there. I know it's a lot of work. This is obviously tedious and time consuming, but this is the beginning of a significant change to the way this code is written and managed. Once I get this line sets thing established, the rest of it will, I mean, it'll be a lot of tedious work, but I won't be struggling through it. I know exactly how to do this and how it's going to work. This is an example of how much you stumble when you run into an impedance mismatch. In this case, originally the JSON was being converted to a core data object stored in a SQL database, and what I'm doing is I'm saying, look, I'm just going to keep it in its JSON, the NSDictionary format. I'm going to stringify that, serialize it out to a file, not convert it to any other form of in-memory object, but keep it as a member of the script object and everything else, which is still core data. And everything else that's referring to line sets is still going to be going through as if it's the original core data line set, but it's not the original core data line set. So all the accessing is basically just going to be functional methods that extract the necessary information from the NSDictionary, aka JSON. That'll be my next step. So for this, we're going to save. Look, we got a lot of save points here. At some point, we're going to collapse these save points to a coherent change. I don't know that I really want to do this in broken stages. You know, have the commits where, yeah, it builds and it runs, but I'd rather collapse this all into one that fixes line set, because basically we broke the build, we broke it again, we moved, we commented out, we repaired the build, but not the line sets, and then essentially one commit that makes line sets work. So we'll end up with 4 commits for this. I mean, do I really want to see how the sausage is made at each step along the way? These are small sets of changes that are all related. Actually, first let's just go ahead and save this. There's a lot of changes to classes there. Yeah, they all go together though. We basically made it transient. Yeah, okay. What for script dot line sets made transient within its parent CoreData object, CoreData class. All right, so that's this change. These changes kind of go together. Let's get show ahead 1. These are small changes. Head 2. Changes to the same file. Head 3 is just repeated changes to the same logic. Head 4, this is the repaired the build. Actually, let's collapse this stuff down into a single whip for now. I'm going to push this, push GitLab, and then I collapse it into a new branch. I want to condense this stuff down. All right, get branch, get checkout, dev, line, set with an E as JSON B. Know your git commands, checkout -b, new branch. All right, and I'm going to do a get reset head. 1, 2, 3. No, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get log. Should be there, yes. Get add dot. Get commit -m. Let's copy the same message. We're still going to keep this a whip, but we're going to call it whip 5. So that's the main change, the CoreData class, and then this guy, where were we? Script scenes JSON. Parse line sets in context. Script scenes JSON parse line sets in context refactored to save cloud received cloud JSON as NSDictionary in the script the line sets. Oh. Say to save receive cloud JSONs in the script line sets and write it to storage as a text file and write it to file storage as a text, write to file store in text as text. Just storage. Write it to storage as a text file. How about write its text to file storage? Write it as a text file. Yeah, that's fine. I just want to change something here. Script line sets is made transient. All right. Make change legacy script obj_c, let's be specific, obj_c, script line sets transient instead of a core data, instead of a core data property. Change to from core data property to transient, and refactor to store each received cloud line set to each received cloud line set as its let's see, to store each received cloud line set in its parsed. It's not, is it parsed? It's not really parsed. It's just extracted. I mean, it, in its original NSDictionary JSON, dictionary from JSON, to store each received cloud line set in its original NSDictionary from JSON into a stored, or to store it into a local text file, and assign the collection to transient collection, assign the transient collection of them to script line sets. Okay, change legacy object C script line sets from a core data property to transient. And refactor script scenes JSON parse line set, and to store each received cloud line set in its original NSDictionary from JSON into a local text file, stringified. To store its received cloud line set as its original JSON converted to an NSDictionary as its original, just stringified into a local text file, and assign the transient collection of them to script line sets. So, what do we got? Change legacy Objective-C script line sets core data property, transient, refactor, script scenes, JSON, parse line set to store each received cloud line set as its original JSON converted to an NSDictionary, stringified into a local text file, and assign the transient collection of them to script line sets. Okay, so core data class now transient, good. Now transient, commented out. Oh, that set line sets, I don't need that. Yeah, there's a bunch of these declared functions that don't even need to be there. That's dead code. Which guy is that? It's un-CoreData properties. See, this is why I take the time to diligently look over my commits, kind of rethink how I did stuff. I'm a slow programmer, but I try to be deliberate in what I'm doing. Especially when I'm establishing a pattern that I'm then going to follow widespread across all of these classes. So this is the initial stage where it's important to think deeply about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And once it's a proof of concept, once this concept is proven, then I can much more rapidly spread this approach across everything, reducing all this code, eliminating a lot of this code, simplifying it. And honestly, to me, this is kind of the best kind of work than just creating stuff greenfield. I'm assuming a lot more programmers prefer to create stuff from scratch, being able to do it the way they want. But I actually like taking legacy code, taking old code. I mean, legacy, we're talking about legacy, my old code, and seeing how it can be improved and improving it. And that's what we're doing here. And I like that. I like reshaping and improving, making something better, not just making something work. Anybody can make something work, well, to varying degrees, but I really enjoy making something work better. It's the perfectionist in me. It's my great weakness. Okay, so yeah, I don't need that. So, and I removed the to-do there, or I just moved it around. Got a lot of rewriting in here. Oh, we got like a trailing space, which is, I find annoying. I don't like it. When I use my Vim, I can see the actual trailing spaces. There's more trailing spaces. Rewrite this now. Now, rewrite it now. I got lots of if-defs in here. This is like, I don't know, you see this is like surgeons maybe, where you're sticking kind of poles in poles. You're sticking pins into things to hold the tissue back in place while you tear it apart. And then when you've done the right thing, you're gonna remove the pins and just bring the tissue together and neatly sew it up. I don't know if that's what surgeons do, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm watching too much House. Store string as file. This really should be a separate commit. This particular thing. It's not done yet. So we will pull apart these commits later. But yeah, this really needs to be a separate commit. Again, this is under WIP 5, so we'll pull that out separately. Actually, let's do it separately for now. We'll probably redo these commits anyway. Yeah, I'm going to do a reset, head -1. I like to keep separate changes in separate commits where there isn't a direct, I mean, one depends on the one that precedes it, but the preceding one doesn't depend on the other stuff. I don't like to see general changes like a new class or a new utility or new function added that's, you know, a general purpose thing like store as file embedded inside a commit that's very specific to some particular use case, right? I want to see the commit that created the general utility and then create the separate commit following it that makes use of that utility. I find it also, it's a lot easier to, when searching through the commits, to see where things kind of appear and see how they are isolated. So that's my logic. I think very few people take the time to scrutinally put commits together the way I do. Again, it's part of my OCD, perfectionist nature, but I really depend on the what is the word? Forensics, but the diagnosability of of change history, I don't want to have to remember everything. And if I'm very meticulous in how I track changes, I can go back in time, looking through commits, looking at how they're put together, and understand not only what I did, but the rationale behind it. And I absolutely depend on that. I think a lot of my ability to work with many code bases and across different languages, I don't have to keep all this stuff in my head. I make a nice, I mean, Git, one of the things I love about Git commits is they serve as really a log of development, truly a log, not just changed, but this is what was done, this is why it was done, this is what it was built upon before. And they don't have to remember any of this. I go back and it makes sense. It's like, okay, I see where that is. I literally just do searches through the logs for certain keywords, and it's like, where was I doing this? Oh, there, and that's why I did it. Okay, now I understand and I can build on it. So we're going to add source. And notice how it's nicely isolated, right? The source main stuff, right? We can see how, right, these are the legacy changes. So this is the specific use case. This is the new utility that I've added to the new code. This really should be its own commit. So get diff cached. We want to see what we just added. So we can see this as a separate thing, even if it's incomplete. Make it very clear what I'm doing here. And in fact, this platform function was already added on the Kotlin side. And the Kotlin commits are separate, right? They're in the parent repo, and this is a sub-repo. This is a sub-module. This does depend on its parent for it to work, but the reverse is not true. That's just how I'm organizing this project. It kind of is making assumptions about what the parent is providing, but that's fine. Okay, so what I'm saying here is git commit, implement platform, app platform function, functions, store string as file. Store string as file. And remember, I spent a lot of time figuring out how to do this. It's way too much time. Store string as file for iOS. And add Objective-C access to it in the shared facade. I'll rephrase that a little bit for iOS and add shared and add it to the shared facade for access by Objective-C. Store string is file for iOS and add it to the shared facade for access by Objective-C. Git show. And that's what we see here. There's its implementation. We got this little trace in there. That's fine. We're going to leave that in there. App storage. The shared facade is actually calling on the Kotlin side, which reflects it back to here. And the shared facade doesn't actually know that. This calls out to Kotlin, Kotlin calls back. Basically, it's just delegating. So, global app mutant, great. Yes. And actually, I want to keep the time and date when it was originally created. So let's do a git log dev lin set as JSON A. Let's do it back here. We're going to take that. All right. Good. Git push -u GitLab head. We have a new branch. This is our new head. So now it's on GitLab. Yes. And the remaining files, we're going to keep the last commit that I just did. So let's just roll through our stack to where our commit is. Not that commit, it's the other one. That one. And we're still having it as a whip. Actually, I should have made the other one a whip. Well, actually, I should go ahead and... Well, no. It's complete. I mean, it stores a string, it doesn't read it. So the to-do is in there, that's fine. It doesn't need to be a whip. It's actually works. All right. So there we go. So look at it one more time. We changed that to transient, commented that out. There's where we did most of the work. In here. That's it. Good. Straightforward. Change the string. I mean, you can see, like, yeah, it's good to collapse those commits because they're just, it's a lot of thrashing over the same lines of code. This is a lot more readable. Yeah, we made a new transient property. We commented out the persistent property. And then we refactored a bit this use case. So, looks good. Git push, GitLab. All right, that's it for now. We will resume this soon. See you next time, and in all your programming endeavors, I wish you the best of luck.